So today we have with us Ms. Sylvia Dominguez from the El Paso Community College Career and Transfer Services Department. But before we begin, I would like to let you know that you can get points from the Tejano Passport program for attending this presentation. I'm going to put a link in the chat box in just a little bit so that you can click on it and get points for participating. And then at the end of the presentation, I'll share a flyer with you so that how to get those points to a Tejano Passport app, and then you can get a medallion once you have so many points. So if you would all please mute your microphone, and if you have a question, you can click on the purple bubble that's on the bottom right side. Just click on that, and when it pulls out the menu, you can click on the chat bubble, and you'll be able to send a message. Or in the bottom middle of your screen, you will also have a picture of someone raising their hand that you can go ahead and click on and ask a question. So thank you very much, and Ms. Dominguez, you can begin when you're ready.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sylvia Dominguez from the Career and Transfer Services Department, and I'm very excited to join you this afternoon to talk about a little bit about our services and all that we do to assist our students to help them through their education and eventually reach their career goals. The services that we offer in the Career and Transfer Services Department is career advising, transfer services, cooperative education, and professional development and job search. And I'll go through each of the components individually. And of course, if you have any questions along the line, just ask your question in the chat box or raise your hand. Okay, the career advising, we use a tool called Career Coach. And the Career Coach, what a student can do is do an assessment, do career exploration, and then with that, they can find their dream career. Once the student comes into our office, and for example, it could be a student, it can be even a community member, and they say they aren't sure what they want to study, what they want to pursue, we do the assessment. And it's a very quick, short assessment. It's only 60 questions long, and it usually takes about 5 minutes to take. It's not a very long assessment. The career exploration part, that takes a little bit longer because we look at all the components of the assessment results, which ties in with their personality traits. So we look at all the suggested majors, and then from the majors, we look at the careers that the student might like, because a student can choose a major, but they don't necessarily know what career would go along with that major. So we explore everything about the major, the levels of education that's needed to achieve the career the student is looking for. And then part of that, we research for them the job description, salary information, the growth and the availability. Because the growth and availability is so important, because a student cannot, it's very disappointing that you go through 2 years or 4 years of education and you can't find a job related to your field of study because maybe the growth isn't there. So we look at the growth. So if careers are in the 1%, 2% category, we explore with the student the options of what else they can do so they can be able to get to that career. And of course, after that, do create a career plan so we can tell the student this is where you are and this is what it's going to take to get to that dream career. For example, nowadays students say they want to be a physical therapist, but to become a physical therapist, you need to get a PhD. Before, a couple of years back, a student could do a bachelor's degree in kinesiology or health sciences or a related degree. get the bachelor's degree and do a master's and become a physical therapist. Well, that's changed now. They need to have a PhD. So now the student needs a bachelor's, a master's to be able to get into the physical therapy program to become a physical therapist. So we let the student know all this, what is the path, the educational path to get to that career. In career advising, we do it because it's very important to let the student know how long it will take to get to the career and what things they need to do. For example, if they need to do internships prior, or the importance of internships, because sometimes students lose interest while they're going to school, or they get disappointed that they're not there as soon as they thought they would be. So they lose interest, and sometimes if they're in the wrong major, they start losing self-esteem because they lose interest in the classes they're taking. And when you lose interest, you don't do as well in your classes. And if you're under financial aid and your grades start dropping, sometimes you lose your financial aid. And like some students, once they get on probation and suspension, it's a little bit harder sometimes to return to school, so they don't complete the degree. So with career advising, we really assist these students to see the whole picture, how to get there, so they don't lose interest in their self-esteem and everything that comes along with that. Now, we also point out the importance of choosing the right career, because the right career gives you job satisfaction, it provides you self-worth, it helps your health, because when you're in the wrong career and you're doing a job, occupation that you dislike or too stressful for you, or you realize it just definitely wasn't for you, it's definitely going to affect your physical and your mental health. And then, of course, the big plus this is the income and lifestyle that your career choice will bring you. So we always cover all the aspects about the right career, because some people can go into a career and last their whole lifetime in it, and it seems to them they just started and all of a sudden like 30 years have passed, and because they've been so happy and time just flew. Some people in the wrong career, it's so stressful, in a year they can't wait to get out of it. They're getting headaches, they feel sick, they don't want to go to work. So these are also subtopics that we cover with the student about going into the wrong career, because many students come to us and just want to know, I want to go into a job that's going to give me a lot of money, not knowing if they have skills or will be able to do it. So we definitely look into all those aspects of it. And I have a question here. It says, what happens when a student wants to be a doctor but lacks the skills such as math skills and therefore cannot move on? Do they give us a choice or something else? Well, when things like that come up, if they don't have the skills, that's what we look at. For example, not only being a doctor, but also we have a lot of students that want to be going into engineering, and they have very bad math skills. So what we advise there is either they start tutoring and brushing up and get good in their math before they move on, because once they get into the upper level math, it's gonna get harder and harder. So if they can't do that, we advise they rethink about going into another career. We don't say, well, you don't have the skills, you can't go into it, but we advise them of everything that's going to come if you can't pass, for example, calculus, and you can't move on to the higher level math. If you can't move on to the higher math, then you can't move into the actual engineering classes. So that's the reality of that. So either they learn to love math and get good at it, or they need to rethink of another career or a similar career. Now, to be a doctor, that is a long path. It takes several years to get to a doctor, but we cover what they need to do and how to volunteer where they're doing their bachelor's degree. Once they do that, they have to be accepted into the medical school, and we review what medical school the 4 years will be, and then the 3 years of their internships, so forth. So we really thoroughly go through the whole career in itself, the time, the length, and what they'll need. And eventually the student sees if they'll be able to do it or not. So that's what we do. And let me see. And of course, we encourage the student, if they're really passionate about something, that's what their heart is in. Of course, it's not impossible to get there. You just have to work a little bit harder and really do good in your basic classes so you can get to the next level of classes. We never discourage anybody from achieving their dream. We just lay out what is required to get there. And that's important because sometimes if nobody told them along the way what work they have to do or how to get there, they're not going to achieve it and they're going to be very discouraged. For example, here in El Paso, the Paul Foster Medical School, they don't care what your bachelor's degree is in. It can be in accounting, it doesn't even have to be medical related when you enter medical school. But you do need to have some of the courses they require, the anatomy and the physiology, but what they look for is what you've done for the community. How have you served your community? These are other aspects that they look at for your acceptance into their medical school. So that's what we inform students, that they need to get involved in their community, start doing things, because aside from their education, other factors are going to be determined if they're going to be accepted into the medical school. And then our transfer service. Of course, we start off with our students here attending community college. And the goal is for them to move up to the higher, to the next step and achieve a bachelor's degree. So we assist them with the transfer services and, first of all, researching the universities that are of their interest or in their state. What does the degree require for their career choice? Of course, what universities offer that degree? What is the admissions process for that university? And then what is the admissions process for the program? Because you can be admitted to a university with a certain GPA, but if you're going into a program like engineering, nursing, you're going to be a pre-med or a pre-law student, there's a different GPA requirement. So we let them know the GPA that's required for the university, plus the requirements to get into the program. For example, UTEP social work program, you have to be accepted into that program. So we let them know the process of how to be accepted into that program. And then we let them know about links to the financial aid, scholarships, and we totally go over the living expenses and meal plans, if they have course guides and any support services the student needs to make the complete transfer. Now, some of the admissions applications to some universities require an admissions fee. They do require essays, and they do require resumes. So we assist them with the resume portion. Their essays, we always advise that they write an essay and use the other sources that are available here at community college, like the Writing Center, to review their essay before they submit it. So apart from that, we utilize the other resources that are available here at community college for them. And then we really try to search for all the scholarships, transfer scholarships the student can apply for before they leave EPCC, because we do want to make sure that their tuition and fees, and especially that they'll be able to eat, it's important if they leave El Paso. Okay, let me see. All right. No questions here on the transfer services? Now, we do have transfer fairs available for students, and we do have transfer representatives. Since this pandemic, we've had some universities, like we've had an MSU, come into our virtual office so students can talk one-on-one. We are planning a virtual transfer fair for students to talk to many universities, so they have the opportunity to ask questions from different admissions counselors. Like here, the transfer services we offer are university table recruitments, which we haven't done any face-to-face, but like I said, we have them virtually. When we go back face-to-face, like in the past, we usually have university representatives come visit in our office at least once a month, and that'll be available when things change. But one thing that will continue will be transfer fairs. This is our large events with multiple university attendants, and as I said, we will continue that virtually. Now I have a question here. What are the top 3 transfer degrees or schools? The 3 transfer degrees that we do get, of course, from community college, we have students going into the accounting fields, psychology, and biochemistry, biomedical. So those are the 3 that we have, and usually UTEP, NMSU, or Texas Tech are 3 top schools. And we do use reality check. That's another tool that we use when we're doing our assessment, because when we're, as I said, as we're looking at the cost of living and what are they making, we do the reality check for students. And sometimes they're surprised that what they think they're going to do, especially if they're getting student loans and other debt, and you put it in there to the reality check, they're going to see that maybe at the end of the month, they're only going to have $50 left, and it kind of does shock them of what the real world is when you graduate. So we do use the reality check, and it is a very good tool. Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Cooperative education and internships. Here at community college, we have cooperative educations for our technical programs. And that means the student who's in a technical program in their second year, part of that degree program is that they do a co-op class, and they usually do 2 co-op classes, co-op 1 and co-op 2. And in conjunction with their instructor, their co-op instructor, they get placed in a job or an internship related to their field of study. So then when they graduate, they have experience in that field of study. Sometimes when the instructor doesn't have any leads, the student does come to us and we assist them to get leads for an internship. For example, some of the accounting students, occasionally a paralegal student. It just varies on the internships, and this is for the technical programs. Now, any internship, we go over with students that any internship you do related to your study is the best thing you can do once you graduate, because it'll serve as experience. And if you research, students usually get offered The percentage of students getting offered a job is better when they've done an internship in their field of study, and it can be paid or unpaid, especially when they're going into competitive fields. For example, mechanical engineering, industrial engineering, architectural, all those, the more internships you do, the better job offers you'll get upon graduation. And many times what happens is where the student is doing the internship, they get offered a job. So they have a job offer before they graduate. Now, we always emphasize the pros and cons about cooperative education and internships, because without it, without having some experience in any field, a student might change majors, they might delay graduation, they might spend more money because they didn't get a realistic idea about the career. They might drop out of college, and they're going to enter the workforce unskilled and have unrealistic expectations. Now, with it, the pros are they explore the career, they see professionals in actions, they gain related experience, they develop marketable skills. And this is the big plus here, developing marketable skills. It enhances their resume, it increases their employment chances, and some have the opportunity to make money along the way. Now, professional development, what we do is we assist students with any professional document they need, which is resumes, cover letters, thank you letters. We also have workshops about job search documents, interviewing skills, and ethics in the workplace. Ethics in the workplace is very, very important because the student needs to know the difference of what the employer expects and what you should do, the ethics, and of course it covers the sexual harassment part, what to do and how the law protects you. We also provide mock interviews, and we are having mock interviews. They're virtual, but we are still having mock interviews, and we allow the participant to practice before they go to the actual interview so they're ready. They get feedback on their attire and their questions, responses, and they get to see back the video. We play it back to see how they did. So sometimes we don't realize that when we're speaking or we're talking to people, we have habits that just don't come across very well. Like, for example, we fidget. We might not look at the employer. We might just look all around. So we point out all these little details to the students so they can make a good impression and get the interview. The interview, and they get called back and say, you're hired. So that's the main goal of practicing and having a good interview. Now, we've been working on this for a while, and before the pandemic, our career closet was almost up and going, but since the pandemic, we had to stop it because nobody can come in, but we will continue with this when things get better. And this is what we're doing, is that we'll have professional suits for men and women that they can borrow if they don't have the proper clothing when they go on an interview. The job search, we assist students with job search. It can be internships, it can be part-time, it can be full-time. It can be any sort of job they're looking for. So right now, we're transitioning from one platform to the other. We used to have CSO, and now we're transitioning to Handshake. It's another platform that we'll be using, but the platform still will be designed to assist EPC students and recent graduates in their search for their next employment opportunity. It'll be free. It'll be available 24/7. It'll have a job database with entry-level, internships, part-time, full-time positions. We'll have an events calendars where we'll have all our job fairs, programs of study fairs, transfer fairs, employer on-site recruitments, and it'll have several links to labor information and professional documents. So it'll be the same what they're getting. It's just we're going to have a different platform, which upon reviewing it, it seems to be easier and have more resources available. Okay, I have a question here. Is the Career Closet online or is it walk-in? No, our Career Closet is not online because we're not open. Our offices are not open yet to anyone. And when the Career Closet is, we have to look at the sizes and things like that before we give them, we loan them out. So that is not online yet. If our services continue virtual, we might have to do something online, but it's, my understanding is we might start opening back at 25% in the near future. So maybe that'll be available, but we'll have all these updates available on our career services website. Thank you, Adrian, for that question. Okay, now this is an event that's going on starting today. JCPenney's, we always work with JCPenney's to give students an opportunity to be able to find, get professional clothing at a discount price. But since the pandemic, we're working with JCPenney's so students can still take advantage of it. So starting today, any student can text EPCC to 6729 to get a coupon, and then you'll visit our social media sites for the link for the special event page. So that means with the 30%, this information, they'll get a 30% coupon, but it's going to be 30% on top of the sale price for the event, because the event will have lower prices than like if you go online and shop with a 30% coupon. But because this is for students and alumni, because you'll need your Social Security, this 30% will be applied to the special event prices. So that's very good because you can get some nice shirts, some slacks. Even though I read somewhere that people are mostly wearing tops. For example, if you're going to have a virtual interview, if you're going to wear a suit, I was reading people just wear the top. But if you have to go in person, because there's businesses that are asking you to go in person, you have to have a full suit. So it's better to have the full suit and be ready. So it says, as I said, text EPCC to 67292 to get the coupon, and then visit our social media for the link for the special event, because it's just a special event for EPCC students to get this discount. So I do advise any faculty, anybody here, to share this with students so they can be able to get some nice dress shirts, blouses, anything that they need for their next interview, or if they need to look nice for their job. And it runs September the 18th to the 20th. So right after this presentation, if you're a student or a staff, you can text, because they're just going to ask you for your ID number. All right. Now, one important thing that we cover with all our students and alumni is social networking and work. Because many people have lost their jobs or the career opportunity because of what they post on social media or comments that they make. So we always advise them to be very careful because social networking can blur the line between professional and personal lives. Employers won't ask anybody for your password or anything to your social media, but they might ask you to open up your social media. And as we've seen on the news, when things come up, the media has access to your social media and it gets posted everywhere. So we advise students to be very careful. Some employers, like I said, might ask potential employees to log on to their social media. So we always recommend they don't post any comments or images that might harm them in the future or embarrass them. And we always say, think twice before befriending your coworker's boss or your boss, because what has happened, a student or somebody's causing sick because they're not feeling well because they were out partying all night, and then the coworker, somebody shows it to the boss and said, oh, they're not sick, look, they're just hungover or something. And that could lead into problems. So we do advise to be very careful, especially, when you're considering going into a professional career or any student going into law enforcement, to be very, very careful what they post. Okay, and I had Elen, Ms. Baeza, you text, let me repeat the number to text. You text EPCC to 67292. Okay? And I'll put it here in the chat, the number. It's 67292. Now, one important thing we students is to have a LinkedIn account, because a lot of professionals, many companies have look into LinkedIn. For example, now that we have our department has a LinkedIn account, we do post when we're having job fairs, transfer fairs, and we announce it. 43% of employers use social media to research for job candidates. So many people actually get job offers from posting their profile on LinkedIn. Now we do have our social medias, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and it's follow us at EPCC CaTS. And we have the kitty here. And why we're CaTS is because this stands for Career and Transfer Services. So we took on the little cat. We do post a lot of information about job openings, internship opportunities that come up, or all our events on our 3 social medias. Does anybody have any questions? Now, our virtual office, like I said, we have a virtual office, and we're open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5:30. And you can simply visit us at the www.epcc.edu/services/career services and click on Get Connected. The student gets connected, a person comes on, we talk to them, and of course, we take their name and information, and then they get transferred to a career service specialist, and then we assist them in whatever service they're looking for, either assessments, transfer information, or job search, and they see us. Students have really liked it that they're able to see us and we connect. It's like if we were face-to-face. So we're there, like I said, 8:30 to 5:30. And if anybody wants to call us, this is our number at 915-831-2636, and this is our email, careerservices@epcc.edu, if anybody has any questions. Any questions? If there's no questions, it's a pleasure to talk to you today. Rodriguez, Mickey, Manny, Adrian, like I said, we're here to help students, to help them get through their education, because the most important thing is that they get through 2 years of community college. And for the students that want to go on for their bachelor's degree, of course, we provide all that service for them. In fact, 1 year after students graduate from community college, they still have our services. So we just don't stop serving them once they graduate. We still provide 1 year of service after they graduate.
Yes, Ms. Dominguez, there is a question about you, if you guys would provide these types of sessions for classes.
Yes, we do. Any faculty can send us an email and request a presentation. Like this is a general information. This is a career service informational workshop, but we also provide interview techniques workshops. We provide resume clinic workshops. The resume clinic is that we present on how to do a resume, and then we have the class and the instructors, up to the instructor to give them a deadline to do a resume based on the information we provided. And we do provide feedback on the resume. So it's a very useful clinic because this gets the student ready to start working on a resume, preparing a resume, because they're going to need it for an internship, for a scholarship, or once they graduate for a better job or a career job. And then we do have a list of presentations that we could provide to the faculty. We have 4 different types of presentations that we offer to the faculty or any group. If somebody likes us to present for a club or any group, we more than willing would like to go share what we have available, because we not only assist students, but we also assist the public in assessments and career exploration. Okay.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Ms. Dominguez. We really appreciate all the good information and everything you guys are doing. And thank you to everybody for coming.
Thank you, everyone. It was nice having you all this afternoon.
And everybody, you can get Tejano Passport points. I put it again in the chat, and then there is also the flyer up there that you can visit in order to get more information about what is the Tejano Passport program. And to remind you that next week we will have another event that I'll show you with the flyer right now. On Wednesday at 1 o'clock, we will be having the Writing Center presenting. And also on Friday, we will have a presentation on Degree Works at 1 o'clock, which helps you find out what kind of credits you need to graduate and the progress you've already been making towards your degree. So thank you again, Ms. Dominguez, for all the great help and for everybody coming. You guys have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.